Let's get this going. All right, it's set. 5 minutes. All right, so we're talking about my research paper, which was about the New Deal and Franklin Roosevelt. So, the New Deal was a series of programs made to combat the Great Depression. The Great Depression, which we will talk about in the next slide, was an event that happened in U.S. history. But the New Deal was arguably one of the best things that happened to us economically wise in America. And that was credited thanks by Franklin D. Roosevelt, the one here in this picture. Well, Theodore, my fault. Before the New Deal, there was the Great Depression. As I said, the Great Depression was a event in U.S. history during the 1920s, late 1920s, early 1930s, where up to 4 million people have went unemployed, and the banks were crashing, and everything else was going down. The economy was at the knees, and a change needed to be happened. And we would not see a change until the 1932 election. But before then, President Hoover, had made other things such as Hoovervilles, which are compacted houses where people will be able to live and get jobs there, as well as Hoover Dams. And he would also try to hide the fact that banks were shutting down and there was nothing else you could do about the banks being shut down. And a lot of people did not like that. And it wasn't until, like I said earlier, 1932, where we saw a positive change in the economy. And that would be the Emergency Banking Act of 1933. You see, Theodore went straight to work and enacted this law. And he was not wasting any gains, which immediately had changed and brought good change to the economy and opened up several hundred banks across the country. And not only opened up several banks across the country, it also increased the taxing for America, which a lot of people did not like. And they say this is why the first New Deal failed. But later on, it came with more deals, such as Social Security Act, which was an act that provided general welfare or establishment for old people benefits or people with disabilities in the world, in the country. And because of that, and this act is also still going on today, and it has been spread out to, disabled, military people, and other things, etc. Another act that was happening was a work progress administration that provided jobs for countless people and also allowed Black African American authors and other creators to flourish, as well as it wasn't just for white people or any other person like that. It was for everyone else. Another act that was talked about widely was the National Youth and Administration Act. And it didn't only help a lot of things, it helped African Americans, Indians, which Indians during this time were very prosecuted against. And because of what he did and his Indian commissioner, he opened up new schools for Indians where it wouldn't erase their culture, but instead show their culture off to younger Indians growing up and allowed them to flourish and know more about their culture as who they are. And it also provided that for schools and college benefits for African American students and other students such as that as well. And I would like to go on and more talk about this, but there are other more important things that have been done, such as the Civil Conservation Corps, which relieved unemployment and providing national conservation for primarily young and unmarried men. Not only did they do that, they have made countless parks and other reservations that you may know about today and you may have visited, such as the Franklin D. Roosevelt National Park or any other ones, as well as if you were to read my essay, I would have mentioned some of them, but sadly I'm not going to be showing any of them off as we are strictly on a time basis and I want to get through our PowerPoint. Now, the lasting effects of the PowerPoint as well, as there were new deals that lasted ways, not only the Social Security Act, the Minimum Wage Act, the Exchange Commission and Security Act, which is SEC for short, and the Federal Deposit and Insurance Corporation. Now, the Minimum Wage Act would establish how much you can get paid for working. And at first, it was a really good idea, but as time went on, the Congress was not able to make the rate go up with the inflation rate, which would led to countless people being poor or not being able to provide for their families as well. Also, the Exchange Commission, which provided basics for the stock market, as the stock market also crashed in 2008 and 1929. And with this, it assured people that they would get to how to work it and teach people how to become breakers, help them set up with great retirement plans, and also that. And the last thing I will be talking about is the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation, and I think everybody has this, as it insures over almost 1,500 banks across the country. And it talks about how you are insured if anything happens to your bank account. And you are insured up to $250,000, which is a lot of money and well. And I would like to thank you for listening for me. And I'm also sorry I can't be able to show my face as my camera set up in a weird position. But thank you for listening and have a great day.